a lesser God. We were attractive as a continent after that because of the raw material that we had before the Industrial Revolution. They wanted our rubber. They wanted land to till coffee and tea and cashew nuts. Then they wanted our diamond and our gold and our cobalt. And their appetite never stopped. They sat in Berlin in 1884 to divide their hunting grounds. The countries that they created were not meant to be countries. They were hunting grounds. Tanganyika, as it was then called, was the hunting ground for the Germans. Uganda was for the British, as was Kenya, as was Zambia. The Italians are hunting ground in Libya and in Somalia. The French had their hunting ground in La Côte d'Ivoire, in Benin, in Togo, in New Sudan, now Mali. The Portuguese had hunting ground in Mozambique and in Angola and in Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau. The Dutch had hunting ground in South Africa and in Namibia. The Belgians had hunting ground in the Democratic Republic of Congo. These were hunting grounds. The hunters did not want to quarrel. They had fought for too long. They wanted to hunt with ease, and they did. And they incorporated some of us. Then the Spirit of God came unto them, and we started struggling to regain our independence. In the intervening period, our kith and kin had been taken to the United States of America and to Caribbean. And they had been turned into slaves. They lost their language. They lost their names. You only have to watch Alec Haley's Roots, the story of Kinta Kinte, and know why they did it. Africa has been attractive for the wrong reasons. Then we regained our independence. And no sooner had we regained our independence than they tried to disrupt us. Did they not kill Patrice Emery Lumumba 10 months after? Did they not kill Sylvanus Olympio 1 year after independence? Did they not overthrow Kwame Nkrumah in 1966? Did they not use their agents to overthrow Nnamdi Azikiwe and kill Tafawa Balewa and Ahmadu Bello in Nigeria? Was there not a mutiny on a single day in East African countries in 1964 when they wanted to overthrow the government of Tanganyika, Uganda, and Kenya? They were here, the colonialists, because they had lost their hunting grounds and they were coming back. Did they not mount coups in order to regain their hunting grounds? Africa is attractive because of our resources. And if we do not wake up, we will be manipulated. We are now a hunting ground, even as I speak, because a disunited Africa is good for other civilizations. A disunited Africa is good for Europe. A disunited Africa is good for the United States of America. A disunited Africa is good for China. It is good for Russia. It is good for the Arabs. It is good for the Turks. In Kiswahili wanasema, vita vya panzi furaha ya kunguru. So when we are in that state, we can be manipulated. And we are being manipulated. When Christ will come and he'll say, I gave you, what did you do with it? And we'll say that we are praying and fasting. No, he will not listen to us. The last time I checked, Paul was preaching, praying, and writing letters, and also making tents. Which is the tent that you are making? I can go on and on, but your attention span has suffered and is suffering. So I must conclude. I conclude by telling us that we have lamented for too long as Africans. We have blamed others for too long. The time is now to blame ourselves. For nearly 60 years, we have elected in many countries men and women who ought not to be elected. I remember in 1995, when the great Mwalimu Nyerere was invited at a meeting of his party, Chama cha Mapinduzi, to give his ideas on who ought to be elected as the third president of the United Republic of Tanzania. Mwalimu said many things, but among the things that he said was character. Who do you elect? The African electorate's affinity to thieves is without rival in this world. When you are a thief in Africa, the electorate loves you. When you are a liar in most African countries, the electorate loves you. When you incite people on the basis of ethnicity and tribalism, the African electorate in many countries loves you. When you incite people on the basis of religion, many people in the electorate in Africa love you. When you divide people along gender lines, the electorate in Africa loves you. The ghost of ethnicity, the ghost of corruption, those who claim that they can pray ghosts out, this is the opportunity to pray. Exercise those ghosts. Otherwise, pray no more. Exercise ghosts no more. Because that is what Africa needs. And I've said, and I'm saying it again, the things that require technology will not be achieved through theology. You are not going to pray the 5G to come into being. No. God gave you the ideas because your mind is what God gave you, and we are created in God's image. The image that God talks about is not about how we look. How can God possibly look like me? How can God possibly look like you? Ladies and gentlemen, in order for Africa to realize our potential, we must wake up. Because when we wake up and we are united, we are going to be masters of our own affairs. We are going to be masters of our own resources, and we can only do that through unity. Not the unity of the graveyard where we do not disagree. We will disagree. But remember, ideas must be cross-pollinated and cross-fertilized. It is in civil disagreement that one good idea overtakes another. And I have faith in Africa. I have faith in the young people sitting up there, knowing that this is an intergenerational battle.